Hey everyone, it's Mark Ferguson with Invest for More, and welcome to another one of my real estate investing videos. Today I'm going to talk about debt, paying off debt, if it's smart to pay off debt, and what I do on my personal investments. So I recently paid off my Audi S4. I've had the car for 6 years. I bought it 2012. It was used as a 2010 model when I bought it. Even though I've got, the Lamborghini, Aston Martin, the 928, the Spree, I've never bought a new car. Every car I've ever bought has been at least a couple years old. And I just can't stand to buy a new car and see it depreciate right out the lot. But I bought this car from California, had it shipped to Colorado. I never saw the car. It was a certified used car, so I figured it was in decent enough shape, saw some videos of it. And it was about $8,000 cheaper in California than anything here for the same year, same model. And I got the car, it was great, amazing, loved it. And I got a 6-year loan on that car. So I paid like $42,000, I think, for it at the time. I could have paid cash, but I didn't. I didn't want to pay cash because I can use that $42,000 so much better in my real estate business. I can use it to buy flips, to buy rental properties, just make so much more investing it than the 4% or 3% interest rate, whatever it was that I got. So I actually, like I said, paid off this loan a couple months ago. And the cool thing, which I thought was cool, a lot of people might think it's really dumb, is I never made one extra payment, paid one extra dime into the car payment. I made the minimum payments for 6 years, even when I only had a couple $1,000s left to pay off. I thought, hey, I could pay this off right now. I'm like, no, why would I do that? I've gone this long without paying it off. I'm going to keep going until the very end and pay the minimum amount. And just my thought process is, why would I pay off a 3% interest rate when I can make 15% or much more on my rental properties or much more than that when I'm flipping houses? When I flip a house, $40,000 enables me to flip 1 or 2 houses a year. And I usually make $30,000 on each flip. I think over the 6 years I had that car, I paid like $5,000 or $6,000 in interest over the entire 6 years on $42,000. So by paying cash for the car, I would have saved that $6,000 in interest, but I could have made like $50,000 a year from flipping more houses with that money. Or, $30,000 in equity in a rental property, plus the cash flow it would have brought in at 15% or so cash on cash returns, plus the tax advantages. It's just the returns are so just astronomically higher on real estate than that 3 or 4% interest rate that you can get on a car. It makes no sense to me to pay cash when I can use that money for so much other things, so much better things than, paying off a car loan. And at the same time, I have loans on the Lamborghini, on the Aston Martin. The Lotus I bought in cash. My Porsche is paid off. The Mustang's paid off. The Audi's paid off now. But the Aston Martin was $125,000, and the Lamborghini was $126,000 back in 2014. I had 12-year loans on both those cars. It's like a 5% interest rate. And again, I could have paid cash if I really wanted to, but that would mean more than a few houses less. I would be flipping a year, less rental properties. The returns are so much greater by using that money for something else that it just makes sense for me to get loans on those cars and invest some money in real estate. So I know there's a lot of people out there that say there's good debt versus bad debt. The Dave Ramsey fans that say any debt against a depreciating asset is bad debt, and they use cars as an example. First off, my cars aren't depreciating usually. The S4 did. It was my daily driver. It depreciated over 6 years. But the Lamborghini went up in value. The Aston Martin, I don't see it going down in value. It's actually, I bought it as a really good deal, so it's worth more than I paid for it already. And second, I am not as concerned about what my debt is on as the debt terms versus the return I can make investing in something else. So people say, oh, it's great to have debt on a rental property because you're making money with that rental property, so it's okay to have debt on it. It's a good investment, it's good debt. But then they say, well, you shouldn't have debt on your personal house because that's a liability. First off, I think the idea that a house is a liability is completely false. Grant Cardone, Robert Kiyosaki, some other guys say a house is a liability because it doesn't make you money. That's completely false. The definition of a liability is that you owe money to people, not that something isn't making you money. So I don't like that narrative. But going with it, even if you did say it was a liability, right, you can get some of the best loans in the world on your personal house. The lowest interest rates, the longest terms, fixed rates. You know the bank's not going to call them due. That's some of the best debt in the world, especially in the United States. Other countries don't have as great of loans. Why in the world would you not use that asset to get some of the best loans in the world at the lowest rates, to buy more real estate, to buy rental properties, to flip houses, to invest in something else? I don't care that the house doesn't make me money, and that's a whole other discussion I've talked about, but I think buying a house is a great investment. You have to have some place to live, plus it can be tax-free if you live there for 2 years and sell. There's all kinds of great advantages to buying a house. But anyway, why not use it as one of the best debt tools out there to invest that money in something else that's going to make you so much more money? It just boggles my mind that people get it in their mind that you have to pay off your house. It's kind of like society is telling us, oh, one of the greatest things in the world is to have a house that's free and clear. But people don't actually think about, is it really an advantage? I mean, I don't think so. I understand some people want to be debt-free. They don't want to loan on their personal house. But to me, I don't make any extra payments on my personal house loan. I don't make any extra payments on my rental property loans. I don't make any extra payments on my car loans, because I can make literally 5 times the return by using that money and investing it in real estate. Now, some other people, maybe they can't get as good of returns. Maybe they don't, are more debt adverse. I'm not saying you're wrong for doing it the way you are doing it, but this is how I do it. I want to get the greatest return I can. I'm a super aggressive investor, and that's how I like to see my money work for me. So, talking about that debt, you can call it car liability if you want, even though it's not. The loan against it would be liability, yes. But I don't think that's bad debt either, because you can get super low interest rate loans on cars that are semi-long term, and you use that money to invest in real estate as well. So there's just so many ways, so many different types of loans you can get that you can use to invest in real estate. Now, if you've got 21% rate credit cards that you have to pay off every month, that, that might not be the best debt in the world. Maybe it is if you can make huge returns. That's the only money you have. And I'm not saying everyone should go, max out their credit cards to buy flips, but that's something you have to consider. Student loan debt, another thing that's pretty low rate. That maybe you don't want to pay that off. Maybe you want to invest in real estate, get those higher returns, and build your money sooner. The sooner you start investing in real estate or anything else, whatever it is you want to invest in, the more that money is going to grow. And unless you're investing in something that has a very low interest rate, like 3% or 4%, the chances are you're going to make much more money investing in something else than you are paying off your debt, paying down your loans early. That's just the way money works. And a lot of banks will even tell you, hey, you want to get a 15-year loan because you save $80,000 in interest over a 30-year loan. And if you look at the big picture, that's true. What they don't tell you is you're paying way more money up front, and then that savings is, over 15 years. If you break it down by a per year savings, it doesn't look as great, doesn't look as amazing as it is. And why are banks always pushing for 15-year loans if they're such a great loan for the consumer? The reason is banks don't like 30-year loans. Their money is tied up in a very low interest rate for 30 years. If rates shoot up, something happens in the economy, they're still stuck in that 30-year loan. And that's one of the best loans out there for consumers, investors, whatever you have. To be able to lock in something that long at a low term is just phenomenal. And that's why a lot of other countries don't have those loans, because the government doesn't help support, some programs that allow the 30-year fixed loan, and then banks have to have their own 30-year fixed loan to compete with those programs. And that's why things in the US are actually really advantageous for investors, people who buy homes, people who want to use those long-term loans. So my philosophy, as you can tell, leverage is an amazing tool to buy real estate, even to buy your own personal house. A lot of times when you're buying rental properties with leverage, you're getting higher returns, more tax advantages, more equity pay down, more, equity when you first buy the house if you're getting a great deal. Just makes more sense to me. I don't pay off my loans early. I actually paid off one loan early on my first rental property. And after I did it, I'm like, oh man, that was stupid. That was a big mistake. I went and got a line of credit against it. Yes, it seemed crazy and a waste to have a paid off property that you worked really hard to pay off and then go get a loan right after you did it. But I realized at the time, hey, that was the best thing for me to do. I want to use that money to buy more houses. I don't want it sitting there stagnant in a paid off property. So my philosophy on debt is use it. Now you have to be careful, making sure you have reserves in place, enough cash. You know, if you have a lot of rental properties, if you have a lot of, you know, good debt, you should still have cash available in case you have vacancies, emergencies, problems that come up. You can take care of those problems without, you know, missing payments where you can get into trouble. So that's all I've got for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Please leave all the comments you can if you have questions. I love seeing those. Thumbs up if you can. Subscribe if you want to see more videos. We got lots of fix and flip stuff coming up, more rental property stuff coming up, all that good stuff. And if you want to check out some more daily content from us, we have a lot more going on Instagram. Just search for Invest for More, Invest F-O-U-R-M-O-R-E, or the Facebook page. Again, just search for Invest for More. We're posting a few things daily on there, different pictures, different cool stuff, and I'm interacting with everybody on those sites too. So check those out. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and we'll have more coming soon. Thanks a lot.